Hello, it's Fellonius, the old yapper, and I'm going to take up detectives. Now, this is actually a subject that Ron gave me, and I have no idea what the intention was when he gave it to me, but when I see the word detectives, I am so into the 70s and the 80s and all those TV shows that were back then. The first ones, it was Kojak, there was Beretta, there was some, was it McLeod? Something like that. Dennis Weaver. And he was some sort of, I don't know, New Mexican sheriff or something like that. But they all were detectives and they all had some cases to do. And then suddenly Hill Street, was it the Hill Street Blues? Came and totally wiped the slate clean. And it hasn't really been the same until, I think it's CSI or whatever it's called nowadays. I don't watch it. Now, that was one type of thing we got from the States. We all had all these detectives that came and they were tough, they were hard, they asked questions after they have beaten up someone or something like that. And it was raw. I thought it was raw. Later I understood that it was so far from the truth, it's even worse. It's 10 times worse out there. So, yeah. But we got a taste of it anyway. But for me, detectives were more of Sherlock Holmes. So, how much Kojak or McLeod or whatever I got into myself, Starsky and Hutch, where the some, yeah. How much I ever got, I still got Hercule Poirot and Sherlock Holmes. These two guys are the ones that I am really relating to when I say detectives. Now, I'm not totally sure that neither of those two guys are actually calling themselves detectives. They are investigators. They do stuff, yeah, but they're not really some sort of detectives. And there is a couple of fun stuff according to Sherlock Holmes. We all think of him as in his tweed cape and his tweed hat. Well, actually, that was invented for television. Has nothing to do with the books, and that's true. I have checked. There is nothing telling us how he was dressed. But since that was probably a popular cap back in the old days, he might have had one. I don't know. I've always thought that he was using the normal hats. But that was a strange thing. So it was, I can't remember his name, but it was one of the actors that has to be going around in those tweed stuffs. Hercule Poirot is actually described as a very molecular person. He's doing everything perfectly. And when we see David Suchet doing it, the same thing on television, I am totally convinced that's Hercule Poirot. So yeah, I'm going for that one as well. Otherwise, I'm not totally sure that detectives are that good persons. We have, there is one fun one. I'm not totally sure what his name was, but it was in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. If you remember that movie, there was this guy who was a detective, but yeah, he was a private eye, right? He was rather fun. Detectives, we are not using detectives as much in Sweden. Not that I know of course, because they're not obvious. And the police detectives, well, they are police. So that's it. Would I fit as a private eye? No. I hoped I could be a private eye once, but no. My son's mother is way ahead of me because she's more nosy. She's more curious. She asks questions that I would even know how to spell. She would do stuff the right way, and she would do it with a smile, and she would get the answers. Now, that's a good detective, if any. So, no, I would not go for a detective personally. But if I could, I love to be as clever as Sherlock Holmes, or at least as Watson. I'm not totally sure about those two guys. So what's your lineup on detectives? Are they just some work, or is there anything that you really enjoy about them? Please comment down below. Otherwise, just thanks for listening anyway. Bye for now.